Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Flashpoint TV, manifesting the moment of your big breakthrough. My name's Austin Haynes. I'm joined by the beautiful co-host, Miss Mandy Robinson. Mandy, how are you doing today?
Good afternoon, Austin. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I've just allowing this season to unfold. Sometimes it's chaotic.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's crazy, but it's always fulfilling.
Good.
And that's where purpose comes in. And we're going to dive into that today and give you a lens to look through that may be different than what you've looked through before. It is National Poetry Month. It's April 29th, but the last time I looked at the clock and the calendar. So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to dive into poetry. We're going to share some verse, if you will, maybe some prose and a lot of reflection. But the main thing is for you to get something from this. Are you excited, Mandy?
I'm really excited. As you know, I'm a poet, right? Okay. So here in our community, there's all kinds of events going on. And for this month, I mean, our poet laureate even launched her first book of poetry, which was awesome too. So anything that dances around poetry just ignites my soul. So this whole month, believe it or not, has been very, very powerful and exciting for me, definitely. And this is kind of like a culmination of bringing it all together. So this is going to be very powerful as well as fun.
And like you said last week, there's the written word,
but
then there's the spoken word.
Yes, the poem and the poetry.
Right. And the beautiful thing about this is that we have the opportunity to add that breath of life to those words.
Yes.
That are written, came from someone's heart, soul, their experience, their trials, their tribulations, their perspective changing things that have happened in life. And that's where I really want to paint the set the stage here today, that regardless of where you are with poetry, whether you're like, I read a couple poems, I have no idea, or you're somebody who's like, I'm a poet. As you know, there's a way to use poetry to put a lens on life, experience, and things that we can't quite get to on our own in normal communication. And now we get to add the spoken word to it. And let's see where this goes. So let's kick off the show.
Before you kick it off,
yes.
Just to follow on from what you just said, it's a poem, it's a verse by Khalil Gibran. And I think this just sums it all up as we go into it. Poetry is a deal of joy and pain and wonder with a dash of dictionary.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what we're going to be doing.
A dash.
A dash of dictionary.
Wow.
Khalil Gibran. Cool. It is. Away you go.
All right. So let's kick it off. What do we do first? Let's
oh right, yes, sorry.
By the way,
hourglass. Sorry, go on.
Yes. Please share this, like and share. It helps us get our message to the world. We're streaming on Apple TV, Amazon, Roku, Fire, as well as Facebook and YouTube. One share with one person that needs this, wants this, is a huge help to us. So Mandy, let's kick it off.
And a big shout out to all the Coburg poetry groups that are potentially watching this lunchtime, if not on the replay. Love you all, folks. Okay, the hourglass. Let's see if we can get this right.
We're going to get it right.
So we're going to get it right. Okay, so we're looking at the hourglass where the sand falls from the top to the bottom. The top part represents the future. Okay, it's not a reality. It hasn't happened yet. Everything in the top that falls through to the bottom represents the future. We're going into it. So where does it pass through as it's going on its journey? It passes through the center, which is the present moment. The present moment. And we just had a discussion on this. The present moment is only real in the present moment. Even 1 second ago is no longer real, and we don't have 1 second in the future. We only have the present moment. And once it's past the present moment, there's the anomaly there, right there. Once it's past, it becomes the past. So the future is falling into the present, and once it's going into the bottom of the glass, it becomes what's already gone, done, can't affect, can't control, it becomes the past. So these are the moments that we're going to glean from everything we discuss here today on poetry. Actually, everything we discuss each week. It's a beautiful metaphor for life, from the future to the present to the past, because that is what life is about. Everything in the future, what we have right now in the present moment, that then becomes everything in the past.
Yeah, and we had a great discussion on this because this
We
visual,
did.
it's simple. But what even for me, like this is actually, I was in bed and I'm thinking I'm in bed and I'm thinking like the hourglass is popping in my head. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm thinking like, as we're talking through it, you know, if you think about the present, it's this stream. I love
Yeah.
this. It's just,
Into the
it's this consistent unfolding.
yeah
And what we want to
of life.
do, the symbol of this is we want to invite you into this moment with us.
Mhm.
Hello, Michelle. Hello, Carrie. Welcome.
Michelle, Carrie.
Let's say hello here. Good afternoon, my dearest poets.
Ah, lovely.
Carrie, welcome.
Girlfriend.
So there you go. Present
Yeah,
moment.
present.
And by the way, this doesn't stop here. This is something, think about this hourglass as you go through your life. Are you present? Can you be more present with life?
Mhm. It's also about making a friend of life. I like what the Japanese say about that in the Ichigo Ichiya, which is recognizing a unique, special moment in time. And when they talk about Zen and Buddhism, the Japanese use this tenet, which the celloist Pablo Casals said in a poem for her children: "You are a miracle, and there has never been, nor will there ever be, anyone like you." So it's about making a friend of our own life. And how do we do that?
Right. Exactly. And it can only happen here. And
Yeah.
what's happening here right now, like, and I think I've been going deep on this and not to go off on a tangent, but I know we're going to tie it together because we always do. Is that, am I in this moment? Am I resisting this moment?
Mm-hmm.
Am I resisting this, or am I in acceptance of this?
Right. Right.
And therein lies the mystery and the keys to human fulfillment.
You got it. You got it. And then we have the Edison light bulb. What's that all about, Austin?
Thanks, Mandy. This light bulb, every time I flip this light bulb on, this is a prototype of the Thomas Edison light bulb that I purchased at the very site that this light bulb came to fruition. Many people think Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. He did not. What he did do, he took an idea, he executed on it, and he innovated it. After 10,000 iterations, so the story goes, we could count, is it 5,000, 1,000, 10,000? I don't know, but
Doesn't
the
matter.
story goes, I did not fail. When asked, how do you feel to fail 10,000 times? He said, I did not fail. I successfully created 10,000 ways in which the light bulb could not be achieved. But then
different ways.
Different ways. But then Flashpoint.
Yeah.
One of those ways created this, the incandescent light bulb. And it's a constant reminder. There's reminders everywhere in our journey that we could be one click away, but
Just like that. Yep.
we value every success or quote unquote failure that is feedback for us. And that's
right.
the Thomas Edison light bulb.
Awesome. So the last part is the cowbell. So moments that are going to stand out to you, something was said, something you heard, something that's come up within yourself that you can think of. Just type cowbell in the chat room. Let us know so that we can share it with everybody here. Yeah, there you go. Make a friend of yourself, Michelle. Awesome. So here we go. Let's get rolling.
Yeah, I got a great story that came to my attention, and it's going to add a beautiful context for today's topic of poetry and purpose. Although this is not a poem, it's a great story, and it is kind of poetic in nature. And it's this. I recently learned about the honey eater. Does anybody know about the honey eater? It's a bird. It's only found in Australia along the coast. Since the 1940s, it's been a tragic story. The honeyeater's population has been slowly diminishing over the years. Till now, we find ourselves to a point where there could be less than 1,000 left. And the tragedy with the honeyeater is this. The male honeyeaters have lost their song. The song that they sing that attracts the female. Well, how could this happen? Because the bird is dying off, there's less adult males around. Because when the adult males are around, there's more songs to hear. But without those male adults, the young adult males are not hearing the song, and they're not learning it, and they're not attracting the females. And so the bird is slowly diminishing and is facing extinction. What a tragic story. Now, the good news is there's a group of people that got together and they're teaching these males how to sing. They're teaching them to get their song back, or should I say, their purpose. And so they can start to rebuild the population of the honeyeater so that it does not become extinct. And I share this story because how many of us that are going to hear this, we lost our song. And you may not directly relate to that, but you feel there's more. You feel something's missing. You feel something's lost. And you look around at society and you haven't been able to resonate with what it is. And that's why we're doing this today. And that's why we want you to find your song. We want you to discover your song and sing it loud and proud. And we want today's show to be part of that. So, Mandy, what do you think about that story?
It's very, very sad to begin with, because there are so many species that things like that are happening to, but especially where the songbirds come into play in life. It's funny how I didn't know you were going to bring that story up, but there's something about that I'm going to mention shortly. When the song of life has left our soul, we might just as well jump in the box and have them dig the dirt over us, because life holds no meaning. It has no passion. It has no joy. It has no reason to live. We were designed as human beings to sing and dance through life. And the soul needs to be singing itself into being on a daily basis. So that's a beautiful, beautiful metaphor leading into poetry and what life is all about. I absolutely love that. And I'm glad to hear these people are looking out for them to teach the younger adults so that they can keep the songs going.
Yes, and that's what we want today to be, because you're not a bird and you may not even be connected with the honeyeater, but think about this. What about the extinction of your own dream, your own purpose? And this may sound morbid, but here's what I know. You got to let life in, and you got to look at it and say, okay, well, that's inevitable at some point. But now we go, and now today, can I step to get my song back and discover my purpose?
Exactly. Actually, that's another tie-in to the Japanese and Zen. And I absolutely love this. It's a perfect place to bring it in. A lot of us aren't singing. We're not living our purpose. We're not finding our passion because we live in the future of expectations. And the Japanese Zen tenet says this, that expectations or anything in the future are like the wrapping that prevents us from seeing the gift. And we've got a gift, somebody's given us a gift, it's covered in wrapping paper and it's all beautiful. But we don't know what's inside that gift until we remove the wrapping paper. So once we've freed ourselves from expectations or that wrapping paper, then the present inside presents itself to us in all its splendor. So we've got to get rid of that so that we can sing in the present moment.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And before we get in, I have one more thing to share. I said this morning, I'm going out of memory, but it was a quote on this morning's video that the purpose of life is to discover your gift.
Mm-hmm.
The work of life is to develop it. And the meaning of life is to give it.
To give it. So
if
basically,
your
it's
purpose,
sorry, go on.
I was going to say, if you're somebody like you don't have your purpose, oh, I don't have my purpose. Well, that's the I don't have my gift to give. That's the purpose. So according to this quote, there's many ways we can look at this. That's why poetry's up for interpretation as well, just like this quote is. But imagine if your purpose was to discover your gift, and then your work was to develop it, and then the meaning was when you gave it away. And if you tie these together, more fulfillment.
Powerful. Or to sum it up in a nutshell, it's the reason for which something is created.
The reason at which something is created, yes.
Purpose. Yeah. We're going to be deep today, I think.
Well, let's transition. Let's get into the poetry. I want to hear as the author of the amazing book, Catalyst Poetry.
Yeah, I should.
I would love to hear your perspective on poetry so we can set the stage, and then we'll share some poems. We want to hear your comments. We want to give you an opportunity to, if something's bubbling up for you, we want you to share it. But this is about really what's speaking to you. Mm-hmm. What needs to be uncovered? What lay dormant that you want to bring out more? That's what this is for. So Mandy, I'm going to turn it over to you just to share a little bit more about poetry and how it can be a powerful medium for people to get the lens they need to really maybe uncover that purpose.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So as a poet and as a photographer, I'm known as a rebel in all these fields and everywhere I go. Photographs that I've entered in competitions, poems that I've entered in competitions. And a poet laureate that that no longer exists today was a very dear friend of mine, and he was British as well, Eric Winter. He's actually, his sons did the testimonial on the back of the book because his father had passed away before I published the book. But Eric came to me one time and he said, I wished I'd spent more time with you than I have. He said, but I'm going to give you some wisdom. He said, do you want to know why I love your poetry? I said, please tell me. At that time, he was about 88, something like that. I think he lived to 96. And these are the words he said to me. Poetry has rules, yet has no rules. It breaks the rules to serve the poem. It manipulates the grammar and the sentence structure. And that just touched me very deeply because that's what I do with my poetry and my photography. I ignore all the rules. I've had photographs and poems come back to me from judges saying, you've not met this and you've not done that. And this is why this was not banned, but not chosen. I don't care, because poetry is the expression of the soul inside. And this is why Eric's words meant a lot to me. It helps us to let go, to learn, to heal, to have freedom of expression and transform and inspire other people, right? So it's not what we've got, it's what we use, it's how we use it that makes the difference. And I think it was Zig Ziglar used a quote, something along those lines. So words, as I like to say, are one of the greatest weapons of the human mind. And a weapon can be used for good, it can be used for bad. And poetry can be about joy, it can be about love, it can be about everything good. But it also can be about heartbreak, pain, and suffering. But it's just as beautiful and just as meaningful. And getting on to the songs of the soul, this is what poetry does. It touches the very core that knows and feels what it means to be a human being. It reflects, back to the hourglass, it reflects gratitude for the past, it celebrates the present, and looks forward to the future. So even in pain, there is purpose, right? Back to purpose. This is all tying in beautifully. Even in pain, it makes us stronger. Tears make us braver. Heartbreaks make us wiser. So for me, I thank my past. I have a better future, and I'm living. Voila, I am living in the present. So that's a general perspective on poetry.
Yes, and I, as the listener who's going to watch this, I liken it to a great metaphor as if we had lenses that you could put on, or glasses that were colored, and you could look out. And if you put them on, and no matter where you looked, it gave you a different look or a different way or a different perspective. I think it's, to me, like poetry is like a lens to look at life and to gain more perspective.
Definitely.
That's going to help you on your journey. It's just another way, because sometimes normal language can't do it. It's the written word that follows the rules and then breaks the rules. It sounds a lot like life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
It's the great metaphor, right?
Right. It has rules, but we break them.
We break them, right? And then we suffer, or whatever the consequences. But I think with poetry, the greatest magic with poetry, even as a metaphor for life, is that it transmutes our passions into stories. So it's the raw material of our life's experiences that gets transmuted into stories. I think that is the magic of the song of the soul of poetry.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we kick it off? I'm going to share a poem that is from your book.
Oh, you are?
Surprise.
Okay then. I'm
going to stand up.
Let's hear it, Maestro. Let's hear it.
This poem is called Alive. This was written by Mandy Robinson. There's a sparkle in my step. Doors are opening wide with an excited invitation to hurry, step inside. This is your life, your journey to mount and feel the pleasure of the ride.
Oh, wow. Wow. You did that beautifully. Oh my gosh. Wow.
And there's the picture, the photo that you shared right there.
Yes, right. That's the winter sunlight sparkling off the ice in the harbor, and like a flame coming off the railing there.
Looks like a candle.
I was just going to say that. To me, it looked like a candle, and that's what life is about. Lighting our flame to shine and sparkle and dance. You read that so well. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
and I
awesome.
think the key here is, and I want to say it, like this last line, this is your life.
I got
right?
it. Yeah, this is
in your journey. Mount, to mount. Think of mount, that metaphor of mount, like I'm engaged, and
getting on board.
Feel the pleasure of the ride, like enjoying the ride. So
wow.
Yeah, I think that was a great way to kick this off.
That's giving me goosebumps.
Good.
It's so true. It's so true. That's beautiful. Wow.
And there was something else I wanted to share.
I've never heard anybody else read my poetry before. Seriously.
Really?
No, I haven't. I've been asked by many other poets at open mics and poetry events, would anybody in the audience like to read my poetry? And I've always volunteered, because I like to get into the minds of other poets, right? And they always say they love to hear it. But I've never heard my own poetry read back to me except through my own voice, right? So that's pretty special. I'm really moved. You did an amazing job. Wow. Thank you.
My honor, pleasure to do it. Um, Now, do you have another? Do you have another poem of yours? Because if you do, I'm going to share another short thing from Rumi, and then we can go to that.
Yeah, I do. But I'll let you go to Rumi first.
Yeah, there's a couple of them here. I'm going to grab this one. God's purpose for man is to acquire a seeing eye and understanding heart. God's purpose for man is to acquire a seeing eye and an understanding heart.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Because the eyes are the first things that see everything. So how are we understanding what we perceive with our eyes? What's the impact on us? How are we perceiving it? What are we doing with it? We want to come from understanding. Love Rumi.
An understanding heart. Yep.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
back to you, Mandy. Let's hear what you have planned.
Okay. So before I get into this poem of mine, just a couple more things there. There's a poet called William Auden, and he said this: a poet is, before anything else, a person who is passionately in love with language. So when we think again of the song of the soul, we're thinking of the love of the language of the soul, what we think, feel, breathe, again, how we perceive life. And then I loved what Wallace Stevens said. This just gives me goosebumps. It's just one sentence. The poet is the priest of the invisible. The poet is the priest of the invisible. That really, really touches me here. Okay, so I talked about the raw material of one's experience being transmuted into stories. And that's what this poem, when I do my lives, I give a little explanation as to how this book came about. And I explain that it's about my life's experiences. So it talks about pain, suffering, heartache, beauty, love, passion, joy, excitement, every range of the human gamut that explains who we are as human beings. As I said at the very beginning there, getting back to that core who we are and how we feel and how we think. So this poem that I'm going to read, I actually wrote after a major heartbreak. And the poem lay dormant for 6 years. And I guess it lay dormant for 6 years because that's how long it took me to, let's say, heal from it. And as we've said, there's beauty and meaning in poetry on every level, in every genre. Okay. And once I had healed from it and could then look into and read this poem aloud without any impact and feel the freedom, that is another thing that poetry brings to our lives. It brings us freedom because we're able to emote and get out all the feelings inside, put them onto paper and then speak them out loud, and it heals, it frees us, it gives us great freedom. So this was a very freeing moment in time for me. And to show the audience just how big an impact this was to me, I also do portraitures. I sketch portraitures. So I sketched his portrait, and I'm going to show you his portrait.
Wow.
I hope this shows up.
Oh my God, I didn't even know you. Wow.
So that is him.
You sketched that?
Yes. I wouldn't be showing you if I didn't.
That's amazing.
I know.
Beautiful.
When he first saw that, he couldn't stop touching it. He said, anybody can draw. He said, but you've captured my eyes. He said, nobody's ever captured my eyes. So that was how much of an impact he had on me. So I'm now going to read this poem. It's on page 108. And I love reading it now, and I smile. And I will just say that there are terms in here, nicknames and things. That's the one. Yes, that's the one. There are nicknames in here that he called me. There's reference to all kinds of stuff, but you might be crying through this. There were times when I couldn't even read this without crying, but now I can read it, and I'm so damn proud of getting over this guy. It's amazing freedom. Here we go. It's called Déjà vu, which is French for already been there, already seen, already done. Déjà vu. Helen Keller once wrote, "The best and most beautiful things in life cannot be seen, not touched, but are felt in the heart." I know that you have felt beautiful things in your heart now and 36 years ago. However, you are hiding, whirling within the shadows of your being, afraid to reach out and see what you really need to be seeing. And you won't know what you've had until it's gone. My dearest friend, your soul will soon tell you how I was the one. You once said you're not losing me again, that you'd found it good to hear my voice. You once said I'm never far from your thoughts, how often you missed me, all words of your choice. You've said my words were close to your heart, that they made you feel warm and fuzzy inside. You once said that you were amused and amazed by me. Upon my words, your heart appeared to glide. You found me funny, engaging, exciting, gorgeous, classy, beautiful, inside and out, a good and close friend. Crazy, entertaining, caring, loving, spring chicken, extraordinaire. My image in your mind, sending you into a daze. My friend, you had it all, right there. What more could you want from a woman? You often found yourself laughing too hard to respond. Does it feel good to smile? Do you still enjoy a good ruffle every now and then? You said plenty of people out your way love me. You're the only person I know out your way, so what am I supposed to believe? You hint at below the surface feelings, leaving me guessing and sending me reeling. You commented on my patience, the ease and pleasure with which we could talk. Your every word used to describe me as the true reality, yet hesitant you remain to take that walk. You seldom engage me when questions I ask of you. Your silence speaks volumes. In your refusal to be realistic, honest, and true, qualities that I thought I had honestly seen in you. You once said that I could not get rid of you that easily. I replied that at my discretion, that would be my decision. Now you must listen, because that time has come. Reality bends its knee before you, but please do not make this a heart-to-heart collision. Love? What is love that commands this hold? It is attraction of the heart, the soul, and the mind. Affection, friendship, that special jewel of the heart that is one of a kind. Not teenagers inflamed with passion and out of control, mature now, penetrating the depths of every fiber of spirit and soul. Vibrant and haunting, real, never daunting, pulsating and careening through arteries and veins, pleading to relinquish the hold on its owner's taut reins. A timeless, precious encounter, engraved, branded upon the heart. Moments forever lost, swept away on the ripples of the tide. Beauty fathomless, beckoning, alive yet kept apart. Turned away, inconceivable, and so it must hide. To never be yours, for you can never say when, and so I've found you and lost you once again. For a second time you've drawn the line in the sand, unable to embrace and hold my heart. in your hand. You once asked of me, "Is everything okay?" When I turned and reached out to you, a friend in need of your listening ear, you responded in cold silence. I bowed and gave way to fear. Why? Because your commitments would not allow you to hear. Therein lies the answer to something so precious and remarkable that can never be, something that has happened twice in a lifetime, something you just cannot allow yourself to freely see. Your voice drowned her in the whispers of time. Your soulmate has flickered in the light of your face. Yet to touch her, to hold and embrace her, your fingers her soul just could not trace. She realized how much she's truly loved you, her whole incredible life. Had you asked her ago in the eons of time, "Please become my wife," she would readily have been only thine. She never thought she had any more to give, in joy and laughter, life and love, well prepared just to live and let live. But you maneuvered the door open, pure and gentle, just like a dove. And so the time has come, my dear and beloved friend, to bring our renewed friendship to its final end. Your photo that I had out on display must now lie hidden, perhaps to resurface on some distant day. Out of respect for you and respect for me, my heart must again say goodbye to thee. Another time, another place, another day. Oh, my love, that you'd never given up when we once walked that beautiful way. At this time, I thought I could keep you in my life, just great friends, no heartache, no strife. But you have moved and overturned mountains within the crevices of my soul. Unintentional, believe me, that was never my goal. For I want more that can never be had. You understand this, that much I truly know. So please, my kind and wonderful friend, do not be sad. Please just set me free and let me go. 'Tis much harder parting from you a second time. The wound is open, deep, heavily bleeding. The pain is rugged and raw. For all the yearning and desire will not make you mine. And so, my friend, I must leave you, walking away from my door. Do not look back unless you truly want what lies behind. If not, go forward and do not cause yourself strife, for it will surely be difficult to erase me from your mind. Just move ahead, as I know you will, with your strange, very predictable life. Or you must let go of all in time that you've held on to, harder and perhaps not what your heart really wants to do. So thank you for what little we've shared this time around. I will always treasure and remember what I thought I had found. As per the words of a song, flames to dust, lovers to friends, why do all good things come to an end? Goodbye, my strong, handsome ghost, from the echoes of the past.
Wow, that's moving and deep. Wow.
Moving and deep, but freeing. And again, a life's experience. It had to be included in the book if I was going to be true to myself and it was going to be a catalyst of transformation of my life. I've had to include every part of my experience that I've gone through, right? And this actually, I know we've still got a little bit of time here, this actually ties into, and I only found this poet recently. She lives in Northern Ontario. She went to Ryerson and the Toronto universities, now lives in Toronto. Her name's Araya Mountain Dreamer, and she wrote a most prolific poem, Canadian, famous for The Invitation, The Invitation. Now, it's a long poem, but I've just picked one stanza out. And this leads off from that poem I just read. This is what she says. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of left me speechless.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very deep poem. This is going to hit people if you. I mean, this is something you want to pick up the book for, because there's so much in that poem
Yes.
that it will take you a while to process and unpack.
That's right. And people go through these experiences, right? How many people, even in the elderly, right? It's happened recently here, very sadly, but an elderly lady committed suicide because she'd lost her husband, and they'd been married for over 60 years and she couldn't live without him. And she just swallowed a bottle of sleeping pills. She was heartbroken, right?
So let's tie this into purpose, because that was her
Yeah.
purpose. So how do you tie this into purpose, this poem?
It's the reason for which something is done or created. I wrote that poem because it was part of my purpose at the time, because I fell in love.
There you go.
I fell in love. That was my purpose, right?
There you go.
I let the love go. I had no choice. There's another story behind it. We won't get into it. I let the love go to free myself so that I could then transform into my life as I am today. And there's a lot more around that.
Week on love poetry, because that's really what we're talking about. But you know what? I wouldn't even. I could go down the rabbit hole, but we'll have to talk about this. But I don't think you let. I don't think you let. No, I was going to say I don't think you let the love go. You loved even in the letting go.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Totally. Yes, that's a different perspective. I loved in the letting go.
Yeah.
I loved myself enough to let him go.
So, Mandy, that's a beautiful poem.
Thank you.
Trust playback. Type in your comments if you can relate to that. I mean, I think we all can. Well, everybody. I mean, if you've loved, you can relate to that, and that's
exactly
where you've had to let go, and maybe that was your purpose. And maybe this speaks differently to men and women, right?
Exactly.
So it's a different perspective. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I wanted to transition. We have 15 minutes left. I got a surprise.
You always do.
We have raw footage of the Flashpoint documentary. It's not done yet.
Let's see it.
I'm going to share as much as I can. But I want to make sure we hit on the purpose. Because, and it's true, men and women look at purpose differently.
That's right.
That's something we could, and I think your selection of poems speaks to that.
Exactly. And that's why in that particular poem, there is many perspectives that can be taken from there. As you said, male or female.
Yes.
And I have dissected this poem with poets, poetry groups. I've done it in events. And every time it comes up, somebody will come to me and share something with me that they gleaned just because of that poem. And that's the whole purpose of why I wrote this book. That's a part of my purpose in serving other people, to show them what we go through is relatable. We can have compassion, we can have understanding, and we can give them a way to free themselves by expressing it in written form and vocally.
Yep.
And that helps them to heal, and they can move. It gives them hope. It gives them hope. There's more beyond this, right?
So I'm going to transition just for time.
Yeah.
I had this one poem. I like this, and this can be, it could be looked in a micro, like a tunnel, or it can be also interpreted. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must Ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep.
Rumi.
People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. And
I've been using that a lot lately. Same with you.
That's the Rumi quote. And I interpret that. If you're listening to this, by the way, please share this with somebody you know is looking to go deeper and get their purpose, uncover life, want more out of life. But again, we could be talking about the morning. We could be talking about life. We could be talking about the fullness of life. Don't go back to sleep.
True.
You must ask for what you really want. Oh, that gives me, this is another poem. Gotta dig this up.
Which one is it?
It's, I don't know. I'm looking it up now because oh yeah, here it is. I got it. I'm going to read it. Oh, it was in the book, Think and Grow Rich.
Okay. I've got that here.
Called, I'll read it.
Okay.
I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more.
Yes.
However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just an employer. He gives what you ask. But once you set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that one wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. That's a different, I pulled that up quickly, but I think that last line's supposed to say, any wage I would have asked of life, life would have surely paid.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to transition, Mandy, to, I want to share this clip from the documentary. So it's a surprise. Like, it's not done yet, by the way. So we're I'm excited.
Getting a glimpse. Yes. Yeah. Show us.
Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, give me 1 second. I got to back it up. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, whether you're live or on the playback. And
very grateful.
Let us know in the comments what you like. But here's a little glimpse on the Flashpoint documentary. My name's Austin J. Haynes, and I'm the founder of Flashpoint, manifesting the moment of your big breakthrough. It's not just a catchphrase. It's something that I believe was a divine download. As I began my entrepreneurial journey, I started to understand that there's a moment in life and in business when it makes sense. In the midst of all the chaos, confusion that you might go through, there's a moment of validation and clarification. It's the moment when you finally create that big breakthrough in your life. There was a moment through my journey many moments where I dealt with lack of worth, low self-esteem, fear of failure, and rejection. And it wasn't so much the rejection part, it was more like that would make me feel like a failure. So if I was rejected, it really hit me to the core. It hit that lack of worth that, everybody was up here and I'm down here trying to figure it out. But then I had a breakthrough. I was fortunate enough, I landed a job in corporate America. I say they were closing the door and I kind of stuck my foot in. And I said, just give me a chance, because I was hungry. There was a hunger inside of me. And through that, I got very lucky. They hired me. And then within the first year, I was underperforming. And then I got the letter that nobody wants to get, that if you don't start to turn things around, we're going to have to let you go. I remember walking down the office. There was big glass on the right and all these cubicles, and I went down, and my cubicle was at the end. I sat down, my head's down, I'm looking at the phone. It's a sales job, dealing with rejection on a massive level, not getting the results. And then I got this letter basically telling me, if you don't turn it around, you're going to get fired. But that letter represented my lack of worth. That letter was a validation that you're not good enough. So I remember that moment. And through that, embracing what is, being fully present with the emotion of it, the feeling like a failure, the rejection, something shifted in my mind in that moment. And I knew that if I was going to get a different result, I needed to make a change, and I needed to change the way I was looking at things. The thing I needed to change was the way I looked at myself. I needed to see myself in a better light. It wasn't a moment, it wasn't a sexy moment, it wasn't like bells going off and people cheering, but it was inside of me. And I like to say every cell in my body vibrated. Every cell in my body responded. Something new was going to happen. I knew in order to get a new outcome, I had to make a change. So that clarifying moment of dealing with that self-worth, I had a breakthrough. And that's the beautiful thing about Flashpoint, is that it happens in us first. Every cell in the body responds, a new decision is made, and boom, once that happens inside of you, that's the internal Flashpoint. And as long as you stay the course, the external Flashpoint is destiny, it's fate, but it must happen inside of you first. And that was the birthplace of Flashpoint. And then a little teaser. I was getting a little choked up. It's so
Yeah.
it's that's the beginning of it, and then the rest of it is going to be revealed. We're in the final editing stages. We should have it done hopefully in the next week, if not few days. And I'm eager to bring it out there. There's so much in this video. It's really great. So
your stuff always does move, and you always bring great content, great quality, great meaning, great purpose. And just like the one from your sojourn trip, this is going to be equally, if not more powerful in what it's going to deliver.
Well, what's exciting about this one, Mandy, is that we get to pull in the people that are there, because we're going to be at, like, there's footage of the live event. And what I see is that every event we do is its own documentary.
Yes.
So we can highlight these people that are showing up and capturing their journey.
Absolutely.
If you want it. Because even as I'm watching this, and it's like what you create creates you.
Mm-hmm.
And this Flashpoint concept, again, divine download, and now it's just creating. It's growing.
The
And
energy is
yeah,
reverberating out.
and yeah, so it's just been amazing. So I just want to share that. We have the
Glad
next
you did.
event, by the way. If you want to join the next event, you can absolutely do that. We have tickets still. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Get your ticket now. We will have a lot. We're going to generate a lot of ticket sales with this one. We're talking about October 7th, 8th, and 9th, so we got time, but we already have tickets sold. It's just going to be an amazing event for somebody who's really seeking and wants to make a change. That's what I can tell you.
Oh, I know it is. Even on the virtual, you can feel the energy in the room and the passion and the breakthroughs. Just, you know, the I'm free, I'm present, moving forward part. When each person does that, it just boom, impact. So I urge anyone, virtual ticket or live, just step in even to the ACT program where we're all holding each other accountable, and it's transparent and it's beautiful, and we set goals and we follow through. It's like a family, really. It is a family. It's the Flashpoint family.
It is a family,
right?
You know, I'll give you. Here's what I want to share. I was watching a home video of the Kennedys, John Kennedy, and I was watching. I think it was Junior, and they were out and they were as a family. They were horsing around. They were all together, and I thought. I felt like a moment of sadness. I felt like, wow, I never really had that. But then I thought, no, I have that now.
That's right.
Because everybody who's in my life who comes to these events, it's
part of your family.
It's like a family. So when we get together for these events, there's a lot of love in the room. There's you know, compassion and love and along with the flaws. So I see this developing for people. There's no question about it. It's a unique space.
And family doesn't have to be blood, right? Doesn't have to be blood.
No, it doesn't have to be blood. And so we can have these reunions. We can have these family reunions. And
I can't wait to meet everybody.
I want to do more. Like I want to do more. I want to go to Shenandoah. I want to do these things.
Yeah.
We're just going to continue to build, and the right people are going to show up, the seekers, and want to be a part of it.
They always do. And that just adds to the beauty and the impact and the purpose of why you're doing all this, right? The reason for something that's created. You're creating opportunity and hope and new life for other people to find their own passion and purpose.
Mandy, we're up against the clock. We're going to have to.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for being here. Really appreciated it. Love the feedback. Loved everybody here. Hope you all enjoyed it. And thank you, Austin, for doing this, especially to round out Poetry Month internationally.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great Friday. Bye for now.
Bye.
God bless.